Well, I felt awfully rigid about this upcoming filming. Felt it in my body a lot. And I've felt more relaxed since we started.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. It's a really difficult thing.
Mm-hmm. Right, the same. It's exciting to come on this trip and to see you again. And it's also frightening a lot. You know, who's going to see it and what are they going to think and what's it going to look like? And am I being hard on myself or am I being good to myself? I don't know. To put myself in this position is what I mean.
Yeah. Don't you have quite a little conflict about, should I really be doing this? Who will see it? What will they say? Am I wise?
What's it going to be? What's the finished product going to be? Will I ever see it? To put myself in a position where I was disclosing very private things about myself, where other people, I have no idea who all, may be viewing that and making their own judgments and exposing myself. That seems hard. And being good to myself is being willing to go through the hardness for the opportunity of learning and experience with Carl. I think is being very good to myself.
Sylvia has been quite aware of the filming, but has had what I believe is a very good attitude toward it. That she hopes that by being as natural as she can in the interviews, she'll be making a contribution to the counseling field. Both in the interviews a year ago and clearly in this interview, the relationship with me has been very important to Sylvia. Looks to me as though your eyes are saying something, but I don't know what.
Well, I'm thinking about how moved I've been when I've heard your voice a few times over the past year. And now I'm here.
That's meant a good deal.
I want to take it in, being here.
I guess you're saying that I mean a good deal to you.
All this time with you. Yes, you. I'm thinking about what I want to talk about, or I'm feeling kind of empty right now about talking.
Can you tell me what I do mean to you?
Yes, I can. Well, I think the best thing that I like to think about you is that, as I understand your writings, I have not read very much that you've written, but that you live what you write about. And my understanding of a lot of popular writers are they write one thing and somehow they just don't quite live that. They live something very different. And so I think of you as wonderful in that way. in that
But what does that mean to you?
well, that is what I would like to be more.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
To have values and be able to do them, or to live them.
Like to have a good match between your life and what you believe and value.
And what I also sense about you is, like, patience isn't the right word, but I see you as being comfortable with yourself, so much so that whatever I or anyone else says or does doesn't get you uptight. And maybe it does.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it probably does, because you're a human
Certainly
being.
does, that's right.
But it doesn't seem like it does
Mm-hmm.
too much.
Mm-hmm. I really was not quite accepting of her feeling that in the relationship I clearly was not uptight. It strikes me that what she's saying here is practically a statement of the attitudes that we have found most effective in therapy. She's saying that she experiences me as being genuine. She experiences me as caring about her. And I think it's quite clear that she feels that I understand her empathically. And those are the elements that, both in experience and in research, have shown up as being the most potent elements in a counseling relationship.
And I like that. I would like to be more present and comfortable with myself, so that other people, including my children and so forth and so on, could do what they do, and that I could be able to be a source of support and not be personally threatened by this little thing and that little thing.
Yeah, that has meaning to me. You'd like to be sufficiently accepting of yourself that then you could be comfortable with what your children do or what other people do, and not feel frightened, thrown off balance.
And I've enjoyed through the year, in the few letters that I've gotten from you, your warmth and interest in me, in my life. I've liked that a lot from you. And at the time those letters were written, I mean, we had no plans to make a movie and all that stuff. So that was really enjoyable. Do you feel answered about?
Yeah. And I'm interested enough in you to know of any other things in your life that are important to you, or they're difficult for you, or whatever.
Well, I'd like to go one of two ways. I don't know which yet. One way would be back to the single working mother business. I'm not sure where we might go with that, but I know it's a big thing for me. And another way would be to go with the difficulty I see myself in having with my relationships with men.
Mm-hmm.
I do so much analyzing that I feel like throwing up my hands. What's the use of even talking about it? But
you do have difficulties in...
Yeah, I'll go with the men.
Okay.
And that's the most frightening thing for me to talk about on this film, because people that I know will probably be seeing it. So. And men that I have known. I see myself, this is real scattered in my mind. Scattered, I'm looking every which way. Well, I see myself making acquaintance with men, many men, I mean not just one man, and spending some time with that person, and then feeling that they lost interest in me, or that I turned them off. And I tell myself things like, you can't expect every man you meet to fall in love with you. And, let's see, what else?
But you feel that
and then I tell myself, well, all these reasons, well, of course this man doesn't like me because I'm this and I'm that, but I don't very often feel the disappointment and confusion about, well, I had a good time with that man, and it seems to me like he must not have had a good time with me because I didn't hear from him again, or I did and things went such and such a way. And
seems kind of mysterious to you why the men lose interest in you.
And then I have feedback from one person, one man friend of mine, who says that I create, I turn people off, men, myself, and so it's like, it's all my doing anyway. But I have felt lately impotent about how to have a successful, long-lasting relationship with a man. Successful, I don't mean perfect, I mean workable. And I think workable is successful these days.
Bill, that's a part of your life in which you just haven't had the kind of success that you wish you had had. Important lack in some way.
Now I'm remembering we talked about this before.
A little bit.
A little bit, right. And I do the kind of analyzing that, well, I have all these habits, like I like to be by myself. I'm not real generous and outgoing and taking care of people that I meet. And the woman that I live with says that she doesn't see me doing that at all. Like, oh, come in, I'll fix you dinner, I'll do this, I'll do that. Like, I don't do that. And so I'm confused. Well, do I need to do that to be in a close relationship? It doesn't seem to me like I should need to sell out to be enjoyed and wanted.
I gather what you mean by selling out is that if you really put yourself out in kind of an artificial way, you don't want that. Is that what you're saying? This is a good example of a client experiencing confusion, and she tries to talk about it rationally, but it's clear that what she is experiencing is just confusion itself. I feel this could have been a better response had I really heard her feeling that she is powerless in her relationships with men, that she simply doesn't have what it takes to build a workable relationship. I believe this feeling that I have some fundamental lack in myself is one of the commonest feelings that one meets in counseling situations. Almost all of us at times feel there must be some terrible flaw in me, or I wouldn't have such problems in my life.
Yes, if I do all these things for a man, so then he'll want me.
Mm-hmm. Kind of buying his favor, as it were. Mm-hmm. And you just don't see yourself doing that. Don't want to do that.
Or wanting to do it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then another question, hard question I ask myself is, well, I'm choosing men to relate to that don't know how to give in the way that I want to be given to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then I try to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, simple, I'm choosing. That just means I need to choose differently. And then I look around and it doesn't seem so simple.
Mm-hmm. You say you're trying to analyze and analyze and analyze what lack in me, or what lack in me, I guess you're asking yourself mostly. What lack in me keeps me from having a lasting relationship with a man?
And one thing that now I'm recalling that really frightened me was I was talking. See, I've lived with my husband for 8 years, and I felt rejected by him, and I left him. And I left him for a man I was very much in love with, that I've been very close to for 5 years. But he's also, I moved away from him, but I felt left by him also. And so this man friend of mine said to me, well, what's wrong with you that you can't keep a man? And that really scared me inside, because when I look at the situation in a practical, sensible way, that doesn't seem like reality.
Mm-hmm.
But then, I don't know. Maybe it's true.
But that, her saying that, he's saying that, really does touch something in you. Is there something wrong with me
that I don't see?
Mm-hmm.
And just the fact that it touched me so much shows me that there's something there.
It wouldn't bother you that much, or you wouldn't think so much about it if there wasn't something in you that refers to.
Mm-hmm. And I see my mother that way a lot. That my mother not being able to have a successful relationship with the man, and so that's been my model. And like
So you're saying maybe I'm just following the same pattern as my mother.
Mm-hmm. Well, I am in that respect, and I don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not willing to do a bunch of crummy stuff that I.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So right now I'm living alone,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not doing any crummy stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I also have some very nice relationships. It's so shades of black and white.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel a lot of confusion about building an intimate relationship, a monogamous type, or primary.
So you can have good times and all that, but still there is this nagging question, or these nagging questions. Am I just following my mother's pattern? What is wrong with me that I don't have a permanent relationship with a man?
I don't ever recall feeling like Carl wasn't understanding me, or because if I did have that feeling, there was something I could do about it right then and there in terms of helping him to better understand me. So then I did feel understood. His tension was very much to be with me, and that if I got the sense that he wasn't, that we could talk about that.
I think this interview is a good example of the fact that when the relationship is good, the client is able to take more and more risks, Sylvia begins with material which is quite present in her awareness, and yet by the end of the interview she is dipping into material which she doesn't understand, which she's a little bit fearful of expressing. She has gone several levels deeper during the interview, and to me that's the mark of a process of therapy that in the long run will be successful. Perhaps through this whole interview, it's evident that following the client's experiencing, being a companion to the client in whatever is going on in her, does lead to opening up new areas of concern, new explorations, leads her into new territories.